Hey guys, what's up? I just want to start this video off by giving a little bit of an explanation on my last video that I posted yesterday, the video about WWE banning chair shots to the head, parts 1 and 2. I don't want people to get the wrong idea about that video. I don't want people to think that I'm not going to be doing WWE related videos and TNA related videos and pro wrestling related videos, because I still am. I'm still an avid pro wrestling fan. I'm a diehard pro wrestling fan, and I always have been, and I always will be. And in my opinion, wrestling is not something that you grow out of. It's not something like the MLB or the NHL, the NFL, or the UFC, or any other sport. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon making wrestling related videos, WWE related videos, TNA related videos, and non-wrestling related videos, which I do plan on starting. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going to start with my first non-wrestling related video, Paranormal 101. So hopefully I'll be able to film and edit and post that return video tomorrow, the return episode of Paranormal 101. The way that's probably going to work is I'm probably going to do it weekly, probably on Fridays, Thursdays or Fridays. I'll make a video each week, a new episode of Paranormal 101. So, but I'll explain more about that and my next video on the first episode of Paranormal 101. That's probably coming tomorrow. I'll explain how it's all going to work. But in this video was going to be a video response to Spinnernet's video about his top 5 WrestleManias of all time, and his most overrated WrestleMania and his most underrated WrestleMania. Now, as for my top 5 WrestleManias, it was kind of a hard decision for me to decide my number 1 favorite, because I really have 2 that I love and I've always loved. My first WrestleMania that I ever saw live was on pay-per-view was WrestleMania 17 in 2001. It was a classic pay-per-view. It was I'm kind of in the middle between that and WrestleMania 16, which in my opinion is also the most underrated WrestleMania of all time, because I still to this day I do not understand why so many people seem to dislike that pay-per-view so much. It had just about every match was awesome. Had the triangle ladder match was phenomenal. It was a totally underrated and overlooked match. The main event was fantastic. I don't know why so many people don't like that match. Just because The Rock lost, so what? It's not that big of a deal. And I know a lot of people say that they would have rather had Triple H versus The Rock instead of the Fatal 4-Way match, but in my opinion, the Fatal 4-Way match was more interesting than a single match. But not that I'm saying that The Rock and Triple H wouldn't have been epic, because it would have been. Triple H and The Rock have never faced each other in the main event at WrestleMania ever, and it will never happen again. It will never ever happen. We'll never get to see it. So, and if you want to know why, you can go talk to The Rock. Put the blame on him. So yeah, if I had to choose, I'd probably have to say that WrestleMania 17 is my number 1. My number 2 would be WrestleMania 16. Number 3 would be WrestleMania 15. Number 4 would be WrestleMania 20. And number 5 would be WrestleMania 24. These were all great WrestleManias in my opinion. I didn't really see anybody in the comments section on Spinnernet's video. I didn't really see that many people mention WrestleMania 15. And I thought it was a really good pay-per-view. The Rock versus Austin match was a classic, as every time that Austin and The Rock faced each other, it was a classic. No matter what anybody thinks, every time those two stepped into the ring, they created something special that will never ever be recreated again. WrestleMania 20 in particular was my number 4, because in my opinion this is where Kane's career pretty much died. In my personal opinion, that rivalry between where the Undertaker eventually returned at WrestleMania 20 as the old Undertaker to returned as the old Undertaker to finally stop Kane once and for all, stop the destruction, the path of rage and destruction that he was on ever since he took off his mask. And in my opinion, that was truly the last match of the Big Red Machine. And Kane hasn't really had any rivalries since then that were worth remembering or worth mentioning again. Usually WWE has a habit of putting him in ridiculous storylines because they know that he's not going to say no, because he's a company guy, and he's always stuck by the company, and whatever they ask him to do, he does. He doesn't want to be a champion. That's why he hasn't held the title, any world titles. He's only been the WWF champion once in his whole career. It was for one night, and then he lost it the next night, which was terrible. And he hasn't been the WWF champion ever since, and it pisses me off. Kane was the reason why I continued to watch the WWF. If Kane wasn't around, if Kane had retired a long time ago, I wouldn't be watching WWE right now. Because I used to say when I was little, I used to say that the day Kane retired, that was the day I stopped watching WWF. I followed his career since the beginning, and I'm going to continue to follow his career until the end. I'm very grateful to him, and I'm grateful to Vince McMahon for bringing him into my life. I'm not trying to sound weird there, but that's how much that Kane has affected my status as a pro wrestling fan. But anyway, as for the most overrated WrestleMania of all time, I would have to say probably WrestleMania 25, because I can't really say that was a classic WrestleMania, because it wasn't. It was a pretty bad WrestleMania. In my opinion, I'm not going to say that a WrestleMania was a classic just because of one match. The only memorable match from WrestleMania 25 was the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels match. It stole the entire show, and the rest of the show was lackluster and not worth remembering or rewatching again. As for the most underrated WrestleMania of all time, without a doubt, WrestleMania 16. Again, I still will never understand why so many people don't like this pay-per-view. In my opinion, it was a fantastic pay-per-view. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. It was no better than WrestleMania 18. It was no better than WrestleMania... Well, it was better than WrestleMania 20, but in my opinion, it was better than WrestleMania 20. Not everybody's going to think that, but I still don't understand why so many people don't like that pay-per-view, because I thought it was fantastic. So that's my top 5 WrestleManias of all time. That was my most overrated WrestleMania of all time. WrestleMania 25. Most underrated, WrestleMania 16. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think. I'd love to have somebody post a video response, as I've never had a video response on any of my videos. So, that's about it, and we'll talk to you guys later.